Have you ever found yourself tripping over your words when you're trying to compare two things? Is something bigger or is it more big? Is someone friendlier or more friendly? It can be kind of confusing, right? Well, it turns out there are some really simple rules to get it right every single time. Today, we're going to crack the code on how to make perfect comparisons in English. Okay, let's kick things off with a little challenge. We all know a tiger is fast, no doubt about it. But a cheetah? A cheetah is on a whole other level. So how do we use the word fast to properly show that difference between these two animals?
You got it. The cheetah is faster. That little we stick on the end is our first big clue. Seems pretty easy, doesn't it? Well, hold on, because it's not always quite that simple.
Let's try another one. For its size, a house cat is definitely powerful. But a tiger is, what? Do we say powerfuler? Yeah, no, that just sounds wrong, doesn't it? So what's the secret here?
Aha, there it is. It's more powerful. See, this time we didn't add anything to the end of the word. We added a whole new word at the beginning. So we've got two different ways to do this, adding and adding more. The big question is, how do you know which one to pick?
So, how do we know when to do which? Well, it's time to unlock the grammar code, and I promise you it is way simpler than you think. There are really just two key rules, and it all comes down to one thing: how long the word is.
And here they are. It's really this easy. For short, one-syllable words like fast, small, or cold, you just tack on at the end. But for long words, the ones with 3 or more syllables like powerful or dangerous, you just put the word more right in front. That's it. That's the whole system. Simple, right?
Now, for those short words, there are just a couple little spelling quirks to keep in mind. If a word already ends with a silent E, like large, you just add the R. Easy. And if it ends in a consonant plus a Y, like heavy, you just swap out that Y for an I before you add the ER.
Okay, so we've got one-syllable words covered, and we've got words with 3 or more syllables covered. But what about the words stuck in the middle? Those tricky 2-syllable words. This is a bit of a gray area, but don't worry, there's a really easy way to handle it.
Let's take a word like friendly. I'm sure you've heard people say friendlier, but you've probably also heard them say more friendly. Well, guess what? You're not going crazy. For a lot of these 2-syllable words, both ways are actually correct.
But I'm going to give you the ultimate pro tip, your secret weapon. If you're ever stuck on a 2-syllable word and you're just not sure, just use more. It is almost always a safe, correct option. Think of it as your get-out-of-jail-free card for grammar.
All right, you've learned the code. Now it's time to put it to the test. I'm going to show you a sentence with a missing word. See if you can fill in that blank before I show you the answer. You ready? Let's do this.
First one up. A tiger is dangerous, but you could say a cheetah is? What do you think? Remember to count the syllables.
More dangerous. Yes, exactly. Dangerous is a long word, 3 syllables, so we use more. Awesome start. Let's try another one.
Okay, next one. The rhinoceros is heavy, but the tiger is? Watch out for the spelling on this one.
Heavier. Nailed it. Did you remember the rule? The word heavy ends in a Y, so we swap it for an I and add ER. Brilliant. Okay, one last one. Let's end with a classic. Your cat is small, but my hamster is... This should be a quick one.
Smaller. Of course. Small is a nice, simple 1-syllable word, so we just add See, you've absolutely got this.
And just like that, you have a new superpower. Seriously, you now have the keys to make clear, confident, and correct comparisons every single time. So let's do a super quick recap of the essentials.
Here's everything you need to remember, boiled down. For short, 1-syllable words, just add For long words, 3 syllables or more, use more. And for those tricky 2-syllable words in the middle, if you're ever in doubt, more is always your safe bet. So, the next time you're debating if a movie is better, a car is faster, or an idea is more interesting, you'll know that you have the right words. And this isn't just about grammar, right? It's about expressing yourself clearly and with confidence.
So, my question for you is this. Now that you have this tool in your toolbox, what are the first 2 things you're going to compare? The power to compare anything correctly is officially yours. Now go use it.